what led you to even thinking, you know what, I'm going to start a podcast just from the get-go?
I just wasn't getting fulfilled. I want to live out my life because it wasn't worth being so depressed, unfulfilled, and just the havoc that I was having in my life was just too much.
We hide behind the word feelings a lot. It's like, well, does this feel right? And it's like, sometimes you just need to do the hard work, sit down and do the things that you're dreading doing, because it's not always fun. Nothing in life is 100% fun.
When that uncomfort happens, again, that's where growth happens.
Yeah.
You're not going to grow when it feels good because you'll learn nothing from that. You're going to grow when things are hard.
You have that motivation. You're not relying on somebody else to motivate you to try to accomplish something.
We are joined today on Behind the Success with our awesome client, Heather Godby. Welcome, Heather.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Okay, so since you did not fill out your intake form, we know you as Dear Heather, the podcast host where you're having conversations that really matter. You're getting through a lot of the stigma. You're saying the things that people might be thinking, but never actually have the guts to come out with and say. And to join this, to start this journey, which I know you started a year ago, and then you took a brief hiatus, and then you came back, and here we are full force again. But what led you to even thinking, you know what, I'm going to start a podcast just from the get-go, day one when you did it last year?
That's a very interesting question because I'm not exactly sure I can pinpoint it to one thing. I think that there were a plethora of things that were just adding up in my life and internally that I just wasn't getting fulfilled. So a little bit of background, and I swear I did that intake, but I'm so sorry that it did not get through.
Nobody today did.
So,
we've had four interviews
really?
in literally every day.
Oh my gosh, so you guys are
We're
going
0
off
for
of
3.
a blank canvas here.
Well, the best part is our intros are just usually so much stronger, but we're just going to roll right
I love
on
that.
in.
I love a good ad lib, what's going on. So I will take you back to a little bit of my history. So I've been in marketing for over 28 years. I've hit milestones, and I don't do anything traditional. So if you look back, I went to U of A at 17, and kind of was a wild child. I know I wanted to do international business, so I went there for half a semester, and then something had happened where I tried to take my life. So there was a lot of heaviness earlier on in my life. And so when that had happened, I completely threw my hands up in the air, and I was like, I'm not wasting another second of my life. I'm going to take this opportunity to just move to LA. So I dropped my scholarships at U of A. I was going to U of A at the time for international business, and dropped my scholarships after that traumatic experience. And I said, I'm going to live out my life the way I want to live out my life, because it wasn't worth being so depressed, unfulfilled, and just the havoc that I was having in my life was just too much not to honor myself. Mm-hmm. And so that was the start of, I guess, this long journey to get here. I went to LA, I got into marketing here and there. I think marketing is one of those things that you can do pretty much anything. You can do grassroots, as a young girl at the time, you can do promotions, brand promotions, guerrilla marketing, and that's kind of how I got into that thread in that industry. But LA, I didn't have money, and I was living place to place with friends and family, and so it wasn't a concrete place for me. So I ended up going back and forth from Arizona, because my family was here, back to California, and then somehow along the lines, I ended up landing a job in corporate marketing. I mean, there was a lot of jobs in between that, in which I lied on my resumes a few times to get to where I needed to go, because a lot of people won't give you the chance. And again, I'm very untraditional, so I'm I see a vision, I know I want to hit it, I have nothing to lose, so I'm just going to go for it and pave my own way. And that's just the mentality that I have, I guess, in life in general. And so I got into this corporate marketing for the last 12 years. And last year when I started my podcast, it was because, again, I started feeling that feeling of being very unfulfilled, that I could do more. I've been through traumatic life experiences. I lost my brother to mental illness, and that was a very traumatic story in itself.
How old were you?
When I tried to take my life, or when my brother was 30. So 11 years ago. Wow. And that, it was just a traumatic... My brother had paranoid schizophrenia, and he didn't develop that until later in life, around 26, when he was 26. And so that alone was a very interesting time, because you're seeing people go through it just uncovered a lot of things in my life, of like the pain and seeing what he went through as a child that led him to paranoid schizophrenia, and then of course lost him, and going through what I went through, and then just a lot of pain that I'll get into on my podcast. There was just so much to say that could help people that were hurting. And again, going back to with this corporate marketing, I just didn't see the point in furthering myself in something that I wasn't passionate about. I was making other people money. I was really good at it. It was a good paycheck, and I love everything I've learned with my last company and through the 20 years of marketing experience that I've had. But there was just this inner calling that said, you have gone through so much in life, like trauma after trauma after trauma. Those were just two big things that are easily thrown out there, that I'll talk about quite often. But I told myself, okay, I was still working at my last corporate job when I started the first podcast, and I was like, it's time. I have this career. I will make the time for this other passion project of mine, because there was something internally just yelling out for it. Every time I would talk to somebody, they had some kind of trauma or experience in their life that I could relate to and help them with. And it was kind of like an aha moment of, well, I must have been given all of these points in time where it was so difficult and managed to get out of it to help share that. And I didn't know how else to do that. Podcasting was never, I never even listened really to podcasts. And so...
Well, and most people don't grow up like, I cannot wait to be a podcast host. Do you know what I mean?
No. And I had no clue what it was about. Nothing. But the way that society was moving, social media, and to really have a voice out there, this is the one tool, the one platform that you can use so people can hear you and relate and feel like they're not alone. My thing is I was experiencing all these things, and I felt really alone, because at that time, depression wasn't talked about, anxiety wasn't talked about, hard relationships, all of it was so different than at the core of where we are now, where we're really honing in on those things. And I wanted to be a part of the conversation, because I felt and I feel like I have a lot to share with everyone out there that is struggling, or that knows of somebody struggling, having to go into those internal hardships of even having to, if you do have someone in your life that is experiencing depression, anxiety, or loss, or heartache, or any of those things. I just wanted to be a safe place, because I never had that safe place. And so in a roundabout way, it was the only kind of option for me to get my story out at the time. This is how you get your story out. So, and also integrate other people in that conversation.
I love it. So you started, and you did how many episodes? I forgot.
I think I did about 7 with my last. I didn't air all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So
the vibe with that show is a little bit different, because they were bringing you guests and you didn't have like a background of really who they were, right?
That's correct. Well, they would send it to me. They would send me a little bit of the background, but it wasn't really hitting those deep spots that I wanted to talk about. So I wasn't in control of like really the narrative. And so coming into now a year later and signing up with you all and partnering up with PS Creative, a whole different ballgame. I mean, it's not only is it completely tailored and you guys listen to what I need to get my message out there, but it's very much organized. I feel like last year was a great experience. I learned a lot, but I don't think I was given the tools in which you guys give me to really do what I've set out to do.
Yeah.
Yes. And so now with this second chance that I'm giving myself, I would say, I was thinking there's no better time than to let it all out. Now it's like nothing hidden, nothing behind the curtains. And so what? It does not matter. Like, if I want to talk about something and it might ruffle some feathers, I'm going to talk about it, because it is 100% for me as well. Like, this is healing me while also hopefully healing other people.
I love that.
Yeah, it's been a long journey, but I know I'm kind of going all over the place on my past and where I am now, but holistically, I think you have to take the risk. Even though I had a corporate job, I knew I wasn't going to be with that corporate job forever.
Right.
It just, I
Nobody
started
really
feeling,
ever is.
yeah, and you know, you are, I hate to break it to you, but you really are at the mercy of change at any moment, and you're just a number, especially in corporate America. Like, I escaped, I want to say, 7 different layoffs, and luckily I flew through those and didn't get affected. And then I got the call. In fact, it was a couple months ago, and I was supposed to be on the show that day.
Oh.
And a half an hour before I was supposed to be here at the studio to record with you guys, I got the call about either you take a severance or you're moving to Bellevue. It's like, well, thank goodness I started my podcast, because I knew that that's where my path would ultimately lead. And so it just kind of all, and this is how my life has been, even though I'm very sporadic and I'm unconventional and I do things the worst way possible at times. I know my goal and I will get there, but I will take probably 60 different wrong paths before I get there. So it's really the journey, and it's believing that you are going to succeed at whatever you really put your...
So when you got the call, move or have a severance, how did you react?
Yeah, like what are you
what
going
was going
through?
through your mind to make your choice? A, did you know that was going to happen? Did you
Not at
feel
that
it coming?
time.
Did you have any inkling that you were on the chopping block?
That's a very interesting question.
And did you even consider moving to Washington? Like,
Maybe
did you
for
kind
2
of like
seconds.
roll through that, like what
And
your
you're
life
like,
would
ew,
be?
it rains all the time, hard pass.
You know, I think that they have great hiking out there. It's a beautiful,
It is
I
really
love the
pretty for
rain.
6 weeks.
But you know what really ultimately made my decision is I'm not putting my life in anybody else's hands anymore. And it was the fact, would I uproot my whole life for a company that could get rid of me in 2 months? And that's the realistic truth about corporate America, or any position that you are working for somebody else these days when it comes to, you know, corporations or bigger businesses. I mean, the way that everything is moving, very AI entailed and AI heavy, the job market is changing. Do I think that that is the gravestone for work? No, but I do think it's going to open up different possibilities. But to go back to your question, what was I thinking? It was a mixture of fuck yes. Fuck yes. I've been waiting for this, because I think intentionally I knew it was going to happen at one point. And so I needed to start getting my footing in the podcasting or any other passion that I had, just really focusing on what I wanted
Having
to
like
do.
another outlet.
Having another outlet that was actually something that I could believe in and put my stakes in.
Yeah.
And then the oh shit didn't happen until, I want to say, like a week after, where I'm like, oh my gosh. Because when you're working for corporate America and you see all the people that you've come close with over the last 10, 12 years, they disappear because they're getting laid off left and right. It wasn't shocking. Like, I knew it happened. Of course, that time itself was shocking because it just came out of the blue. But I was ready. At the same time, I was ready. And so about a week after is when I started getting that, oh man, what does this actually mean for me? What am I going to do? And then I think when I get hit with those times in my life, something happens in me where the engine starts going, where I'm like, okay, it's this or nothing. And so you put everything into your next adventure, at least I do, and it kind of motivates you. It's like a fire under your ass, you know? Like, well, this is happening, and so now I have to really put my money where my mouth is.
Well, yeah, I mean, like staying home and crying about it will not get you anywhere.
No.
It's like you have to figure out how to take that next like step. And you know what's so funny is I resonate with that sentiment so much with dating. Every time I would go through a breakup, I always said you can't start a fire with tears in your eyes. So like there was no crying. There was, we're moving on. I would do 30 days of whatever I wanted. Like maybe that was join a different gym. I'm weird about my gyms. Like I master something and then I do something completely different. But
I feel that.
like whatever it was, like go on a trip, this, that, the other. And I was just like, boom, we're getting back on the wagon. Like there was that fire in my like soul to just like be better than I was like in that relationship as a human.
Oh, I always say whenever I hit rock bottom, it's like I've said this before, like I hate it when I'm there, but I know, like even when I'm sitting and if I am crying to myself, I'm like, okay, I know that tomorrow I'm going to wake up or the next day and I'm going to really challenge myself. And that challenge is the fire.
Yeah.
Like proving yourself. And with breakups alone, I'm like, I love when a guy hurts me. Go for it. I will glow the fuck up. I'm sorry, I keep saying the F word. Bleep that out.
Oh,
if
nobody
you must.
cares.
Okay, perfect.
Nobody cares.
But it's like, it really is like a permission slip for me just to go all out on myself because there's
you're
nothing
not comfortable
better.
anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're just, yes. And it's like, the only thing to make me feel better is to glow up out of it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that could be professionally, just in dating, romantically, any of it.
Spiritually, fitness, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a real just pursuit to your own, not happiness, but like strength and just showing yourself what you can do. And the more you push yourself, the further down you are and the more you push yourself, it's so much more rewarding at the end of the day when you hit the nail on the head. Like, okay, I did that. And it's not always fun and it's not always easy. I mean,
No,
it sucks.
definitely
It's
not.
like this. It's like up and down. You're going to go through waves of like,
Good, bad,
all
ugly.
the emotions. Yes.
The self-doubt.
Yeah. Oh, it's a big thing. I mean, it's all in there in one ball. And people, I think, don't realize that until everything starts making sense of the things that you hear of it gets lonely at the top, or not that I'm at the top. I just mean when you start doing things for yourself, it gets very lonely. And it gets lonely because people don't understand it. A lot of people are risk avoidant.
Yes.
And because I'm kind of like the black sheep of the family, I've always done things kind of the wrong way in their eyes. And so it's like I'm going up against having to hear that again from the people that are like, you're doing this again. You're going to put yourself in a position that's kind of not
A little risky. Yeah. It's not
I've always
like
been
predetermined and safe and all the things.
Yeah. I've always been like risk prone, I guess. Not even risk prone. I create these situations myself, but it's kind of what gives me that fire.
Well, it's nice because then you have that motivation. You're not relying on somebody else to motivate you to try to accomplish something. And you're not relying on it.
Exactly. And it's not forced. So I feel like it comes from a very authentic place. And that's why I never try to force anything. Because if it's authentic, that I know is coming from the inside out instead of like looking at everywhere else like, well, what is that person or this group of people going to think of me? I don't care. I'm doing it from the inside. So I know it's true to myself. And that's
Well, then do you find the people who were maybe like, well, I don't know if you should do that.
everybody.
Do they end up getting on your boat and being like, oh my God, she did it? Like, yes, let's support and go
Or
hard
do they
for
always
her.
say, or do they always stay a skeptic? Because I feel like
I think
a lot of people, if they haven't changed in any way themselves, they like to live on like the skeptic side of the road.
I think both. What I realized from taking a break from my last run at the podcast, so last year, after I filmed and stopped filming, I internally went inside and had to refigure things and really realize, is this what I want to do? And I knew it was there, but that situation wasn't for me. So I took a break. And when I took that break and I was around a lot of acquaintances and friends of mine, that's when I heard about it. Oh, you quit doing the podcast. You were so good. It was so good. Why did? I was like sitting there kind of frustrated, like, thank you for the compliment. But not one of you guys were rooting me on during
In the
what I was
moment.
doing. Yes. And so now when they found out that I had stopped, then they want to give me praise. And so fast forward to now, I'm doing it again, and I'm not hearing
Doubters
anything.
I was going to say, are
it's
the
like,
doubters back?
I don't hear anything. You know, it's like one of those, you get very alone again, because I think that there is a stage of envy a lot of time, like you're the mirror for people of what they're not doing in their life.
I think that's a huge part of growing up if you're driven in things.
Yes. And so you're constantly having to go against the grain. And I think that that's part of the part where you get the doubts because, you're not hearing a lot of affirmations from other people. You're not really hearing anything. People aren't understanding. And it's kind of like you're putting yourself on this not pedestal, but you're putting yourself in the spotlight for everybody to see. And you have to be your biggest advocate. And it's hard when like things aren't going to go, you will never be perfect right out of the gate. There is a long part of, with any adventure, having to mess up about 1,000,000 times and do it the wrong way 1,000,000 times before you get it right the first time. And that's kind of like where I'm at.
The messy
like
middle.
The messy middle. And that's where a lot of people give up. And you can't do that. You just can't, because this is all part of
my big thing is like the self accountability. There's so many things in a day to day that I'm just like, I do not feel like doing that. But guess what? If the business is going to grow, if I'm going to be accountable to our clients, if I'm going to, whatever it might be accountable to myself, I'm just going to have to sit the fuck down and do it.
Yes.
And like, that's all there is to it. So like, my feelings really don't matter. I think that we hide behind the word feelings a lot. It's like, well, does this feel right? And it's like, sometimes you just need to like do the hard work, like sit down and do the things that you're just dreading doing, because it's not always fun. Like nothing in life is like 100% fun.
I love that you just said that, because it reminds me, I always go back to like always going off of what you're internally feeling inside to kind of show you the path that you need to go.
The gut feeling, but how do you get through the gut feeling when you just don't feel like doing something?
So exactly that. And this is something I just kind of came into realization about, is exactly that of, and I think that's where I hold like the long-term vision and like what I know instinctively will fulfill me, that gut feeling, instead of like in the moment uncomfort.
Okay.
Because when that uncomfort happens, again, that's where growth happens.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to grow when it feels good, because you'll learn nothing from that. You're going to grow when things are hard, or when things don't feel right, or when you. It's the same thing with going to the gym. Yeah, you may
I wake up and
want
I'm
to,
like, I don't necessarily
lot
really
of the
feel like
time.
doing this today.
Yeah, a lot of the time. And so I've learned that not necessarily don't always go with the gut, because sometimes you're going to fake yourself
Sabotage
into.
yourself.
Yes, sabotage. And so I've learned, look at the goal in which like you are setting yourself out to, and like how that's going to feel. And again, showing up, just absolutely showing up for yourself and showing up for the other people that are relying on you. Is going to make all the difference. And if you keep caving into what doesn't feel right, then you will always be there. You're going to keep yourself planted in whatever area of your life that is, if you're not willing to grow out of that.
The smartest entrepreneurs don't just create businesses, they create content that scales them. At PS Studios, we work with high-level entrepreneurs and creators across the country. Some fly in every month to shoot with us in sunny Scottsdale. Others send us their raw footage and we turn it into scroll-stopping, authority-building content. From filming to editing to distribution, we handle it all. Done for you. Turnkey content that grows your audience, elevates your brand, and keeps you top of mind. Leaders don't wait, they create. Schedule your call today. That's so true. So we had an employee, Kendall, and I talked about this in our horror story episode, and it was just always like every ailment under the freaking sun. Oh, my gluten, my, what was it? My celiacs. I had celiacs for years. I was able to cure myself of it because I just like stayed the course and like fought hard to get through that. She was the biggest victim of all of it. Oh, my PCOS. Oh, I'm so tired. Like, I just can't do
oxygen
this.
isn't right today.
Yeah, like I've just got a migraine. Like, oh, my dog was throwing up last night, so like I can't do anything. Like, I'm gonna be late. Oh, blah blah blah. Like, I can't even think of all the excuses because it's been so many years at this point. But it was like you have
Dumb
got
after dumb is what they were.
to just shake yourself and be like, I actually should probably just show up for myself and show up to work, and I will feel better. Because action is the cure, right? Like when you don't feel like going to the gym, go to the gym, because afterwards you're like, I feel so much better now that I did that, versus just sitting on the couch wallowing in whatever it is that you're wallowing in. It's like take action in something, and sometimes it's small action. Like for her, it would just be like literally showing up to work. That would be great.
So crazy.
That'd be so great.
And I think that comes down to a character thing, because.
But do you think these people can change?
I think that they first have to realize it. You never want to be the person where people see your name and like they already know what
to expect.
and it's not good. Like
This person's not showing up.
Exactly. Like you never want to be. And there are people that like that individual.
Oh, yeah.
I have people in my life like that too. Like where I already know. I'm like, I already know what's going to come out of your mouth. Don't even worry about it.
It's going to be like a 50% chance that you show up to dinner. Yeah, one of those. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's just like the flaky. I think the
You lose
flakiness
respect.
factor is just so painful these days. Of like nobody has any accountability to like, if I said I was going to do something, then I should do it. And
You know what though? I stopped caring about that because I'm like, you guys are just making me stick out more as like somebody that you can rely on. That's what's sticking me out from the crowd of like the 90% and then the
love
10%.
that mindset.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, go be that. And so I will be the one showing up and I will get my opportunities and I will actually be somewhere. And then you in 10 years from now or a year from now will still be there
yeah.
coming up with, oh, my hair's too wet to show up. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do? And so
I broke a nail.
yes. And so, I mean, you guys will see me. I will show up with like half my nails on if I have to be somewhere and something happens and I just can't functionally fully. Even on last year, I had to show up a few times. And because I said this in one of my episodes, but when I got my teeth redone, because I chipped my teeth out, they were fine, but they were always chipped. So I decided to redo my smile, and so I had gotten temps in. So if anybody knows about teeth, you go through a phase of temporaries until you get your final front teeth, or whatever teeth, I don't know, front. But one of my front teeth were the temporary was falling off, and I had to go record one of my episodes. And they already had the studio time, they already had the guests, and so I had to show up not knowing if in the middle of a sentence my tooth is going to fly out of my mouth.
I thought you were going to tell me that you did it with like a snaggle tooth, and I was like,
hold
the footage.
But I will tell you, it was being held together by denture glue. Yes.
I give you so many props for that.
Oh, I was so
fantastic.
nervous. I'm like,
But you showed up and you did it.
I showed up and I did it. And the photo shoot for when I first started that podcast, I had a sty in my eye. I never have styes in my eye. Like,
oh my
ever.
God,
Maybe,
those are the worst, aren't they? That you never know when it's going to show up.
No,
It
but
just-
if you use like it's like true sterling silver, like the 925, and you rub it on, gone in
Are you serious?
gone in like 12 hours. I kid
Where
you
were
not.
you?
Yeah,
Can you
Let's
text
go.
us that?
Yeah, like
That
sterling
was
silver,
actually-
like it has to be the real, like it'll say the 925 inside,
Like a ring or
like
something?
a ring. Yeah. So it'll be like inside the band.
I
mean,
wish
that's
I
what
knew that.
I would use because to me that's like the easiest thing to like not, in your eye.
Yeah.
And then you just
Do you warm it up?
no, you just take it this straight like you would take. Not that my rings are sterling silver, but you take it off, rub it on. It's something about the chemical composite of silver
That's
that has an
insane.
impact on the sty that makes them go away.
Because I'm
I
just
wish I
over
knew
here
that.
bumming with this stupid warm compress all day.
Yes, and it's
it
annoying.
takes forever.
And then
It
like
takes
clean your ring
forever.
after, you know what I mean? But like literally just whip it off. I mean, I wouldn't suggest like an earring stud, right? Because you're gonna
Oh, yeah.
stab your
yourself.
eye. But like like the band of a sterling silver ring or like a charm on a necklace.
That
or,
is so cool.
That's a good life hack.
I've never even heard
Yeah.
of that.
This
I will
is
never
a beauty
forget it.
podcast now.
You're
I know, like all the hacks. Yeah, so I had to show up to this photo
shoot
shoot
with
for
this
my
guy.
whole brand, but I had to show up. I had a makeup artist, and that was embarrassing alone. So there are things where I'm like, okay, this is part of my story. The journey, I always say this to myself to keep me on track, is the journey, even the dips of like moments where it's hell, is like, okay, I'm going to be talking about this one day when I'm sitting on the other side of this, and it's going to motivate somebody or somebody can relate to it, and it's going to be what they need to just go, like action, like you said. Just keep taking that action, and so you will eventually get to where you need to be.
Yeah.
It's just don't allow those excuses. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Although, unfortunately, I wasn't unable to do that on the day that I was supposed to be here last time podcasting.
No. I mean, getting a hey, severance or move to Washington call is a huge deal.
Yeah, that was a
I
tough
don't
one.
think that anybody would fault you whatsoever for that. Like,
no.
that's a big life, like, okay, what?
Yeah,
And you
it
need
was
more
a
than
tough
30
one.
seconds to make that choice.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, even though I knew I'm like, I'm not moving for a company that can sail me off. But I mean, I guess you never know. You never know.
That's a huge life moment in people's like day-to-days for sure. Like it's
Or
not
their
a big deal.
fear, right? Like,
yes. Oh, yeah.
you keep your job, you must go here or sayonara.
Yeah, and I just didn't know what that meant for my life at that point. Like, what does this mean? What does my new path look like? And even though I had an idea, you just never really know until you're hit with,
Until you're
two
in
paths.
it.
Yeah.
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 Kind of like we talked about on your show of like the quantum leap leaps of life are just taking the other highway and getting out of the comfort zone, one that you've always been on. I told you about my friends in Baltimore who went to college 2-3 hours away, came back, never left. And so many of them are depressed because they've not expanded their horizons, but their life has been so repeatable and mundane because they've never pushed themselves out of their little bubbly comfort zone.
Yeah.
But that comfort zone is truly suffocating them from what could be a very, very joyful, full life.
Absolutely. And sometimes people are scared of the challenge, but the challenge sometimes is what gives you the most life.
Well,
you
I think
know?
most of the time, right?
It does. It absolutely, absolutely. And just see what yourself is, what you are capable of, because a lot of the time you are likely underestimating yourself. And even if you don't get it right, like I said before, the first time, the second time, the 10th time, you might be getting it right on the 11th time, and then you're going to look back and you're going to have a whole story or a whole journey of stories that you can share of how you made it and why your success means so much to you. It wouldn't mean anything if you didn't go through the hard times. Do you think? Like if it was handed to you?
Yeah. Nobody really cares about the trust fund kids behind the
No
success story
one.
if they haven't gone and done something really epic with that handout that they were born into. But
yes.
most of the time they say that the kids who didn't have to work for things just end up being mostly a hot mess express,
Yeah.
right? They're ungrateful, they're entitled, and they don't go on to achieve something really massive for themselves because they've never been put in a situation of having to go out, earn it, put the reps in, be really
Absolutely.
uncomfortable.
I mean, you talk to people that moved from different countries that they had a very, very hard life. Their parents had a hard life. They were surrounded by nothing but violence and no opportunity, and they come here with nothing. And then those are the people, I just got chills because I know so many people like this that are millionaires, billionaires now because they came from a place of nothingness, and they saw even the United States as an opportunity, and they shifted everything into a new life, a new core life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, tell me that.
So true.
How do you have an excuse when somebody came from nothing
And
in
probably
their
didn't
pocket,
speak the language.
didn't even
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah. So
Imagine.
we actually had one of our clients, Dr. Roxana Amanian. She came from Iran as a refugee when she was, I think, 14 or 15. Didn't speak the language, was able to get her paperwork through Turkey, this whole process. So she did get refugee status legally. It wasn't, like a illegal
Right.
migration deal. Didn't have family here. And had to
Learned
learn how to
everything from
speak the
Target.
English. She worked at Target as her first job. Knew she wanted to be a dentist, though. She always loved dentistry. And in Iran, it's not the way it is here. And I'm Iranian for the background, so I can speak on this a little bit, even though I grew up in America. Being a woman, you don't have the same opportunities that you have when you're
more,
a man.
yeah.
Very stark differences. And so her family supported her coming, but she really had to just rebuild completely on her own, basically as a
teenager.
child.
As a teenager, how old was she? when
15.
15.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Oh my gosh, the
So-
chills again.
She then puts herself through college dental school, becomes a dental surgeon so she can do all the veneers and all the crazy dental things, not just give you a teeth cleaning. And yeah, now she owns her own practice out in Peoria. She started her own podcast because she wants to be in the same ranks as a bunch of people that she looks up to. And she's like, this will level me up into that same sphere as them, just by proximity. And she works super, super hard. She's I will say, self-conscious about her accent. She's like, I wish I didn't have such an accent, but this is not my first language.
Wow. See, even the things that we don't think about,
But she's
I'm not
showing
even
up
going
and doing
through half
it.
of what. I mean, even that, an accent, that's something I don't have to deal with day to day, even though I think accents are incredibly beautiful. So keep that accent, okay? Don't lose it ever. That's a part of you. And I think, again, it reminds you of the journey and where you come from and how far you've come. So
And
that's an
she can't go
incredible
back
story.
to see her family. She has been just out here doing it because obviously we know geopolitically things are crazy.
Very much.
But when
yeah.
you come as a refugee, it's not just you can go back to your home country anytime you want for a little vacation. My dad, for example, can go back and forth whenever he wants because he got his U.S. citizenship. He also has his Iranian citizenship. He didn't flee, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah. Totally different realm, but the rules over there are just completely
very
different.
very different, and it's changing as we speak. So you never know this
And if
conversation.
she might be able to go back next month if things go
Yeah,
well.
you never know where this conversation might be in a year from now. We
I
just
know.
don't know. So always putting yourself first and challenging yourself is absolutely number one, the biggest flex, because it shows how you are going to show up in your life regardless of relationships. I want to be the type of person that says what they mean what they do, and people can count on me. But it doesn't mean I'm going to do everything for everyone. I have my boundaries. Like, I'm not going to put my friends first if something that I want to do passionately is
Ahead of that.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. And for the longest time, I did. I put everything else first, my family's needs, my friends' needs, everybody but my own needs. And when you stop doing that and you have a true vision of what you want to accomplish, there's nothing that will stop you if you're that type of person. But if you're the type of person that has an excuse for everything, then get ready to have a life that will be nothing but where you're at that point. You're just not going to grow. You will just never grow.
Yeah.
So before we wrap, I want to find out, tell me some of the things that you've learned between your two podcasts. So in your time off, what did you learn about yourself from round one that pushed you to go and do round two?
Ooh. Well, I always knew that there was going to be a round two. I didn't really know when that was, because I'm more of the type to, I need to feel that burn again, because that burn is something that, you know what I learned is it doesn't matter what anybody thinks, says, or does in relation to your life. You have to be 100% committed to your vision and not allow the outside noise to steer you a different way, because again, in that lull of time, again, keeping that vision was very hard for me, because I'm thinking, well, I'm disappearing from the podcast landscape, and when I come back into it, I really have to show up. So I think during that time, it was more about just self-love and a little less about what everybody else was thinking, and trusting in that. And I think I leaned more into the journey more than ever, of like the hardships that could come. And this is different in general, because I don't have a job that I'm also doing at the same time. Like, the stakes are a little bit higher, but I don't look at it like that. It's more of, this is just my new path. And so I'm going to make it work however it needs to. But self-belief and self-love, I think, really is the general rule there of what I've learned.
Do you know you've already recorded more episodes than you did the first go round?
Have I? I mean, it feels like I kind
You
of
have not
live
gone
there
live. You've
sometimes.
recorded more, and you're already at 5 have gone live as of.
You know why? Because I feel, what's the word? I feel more stable, secure, supported. I feel like I have a team that can actually.
Like, we're in a healthy relationship.
Yes, it's actually finally a healthy relationship that's going to get me somewhere, instead of me constantly fighting back. And it didn't feel right last time, probably because I wasn't in control a lot of the episodes, and I wasn't listened to, and I feel very much heard here. I mean, you guys nailed it on the branding on like day one. So it's like, okay, it allows me to take a step back and
You don't have to like
organically-
micromanage it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
yeah.
no micromanagement, and so I can actually spend the time doing what needs to be done and thinking
creative.
about the creative part. Yes, just being
Yourself.
myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which is what we aim to do. And like, you would text me like, hey, can we change this? And I was like, oh yeah, oh my gosh, I hate this coloring. Like, A, no
And
more
I
spray tans,
love
but
that.
B, the guys, we need to like turn the lights down. We need to do some things.
Also, you will not shy from an honest opinion. You will say exactly, you're like, I don't really like that. I love this. And I think that is so needed today.
Well, her and I are literally soul sisters in that regard, which makes our lives so much better.
When I met you, I was
we
like,
don't
yes,
have to
I see.
Well, we both have such a high standard of excellence. Like, from day one, way before we knew each other, the standard of excellence has always been sky high in how we operate. So then to operate together, and we literally work like this day in and day out, like 7 days a week, it's great, because she knows that I don't want bullshit, and she knows, everyone on the team knows, like, Kendall will not accept bullshit. So we're like looking at things
I
in a
love
very
that.
critical eye. However, something like skin coloring. I'm like, okay, I'm probably more psychotic about that. She's
Yes.
like, I don't care about
So
an
I was like,
angle.
I thought
Like,
they
I'm
looked
fine. Everybody's good.
I was like, they don't look frozen and they don't look like a tomato. And
See, but you guys can fill in the gaps.
Yeah. Well, and we had one. So we had a very white studio at one point. Lost story. And one of our clients was just like the brightest shade of spray tan orange. And I mean, that's so stark. There's nothing dimming that out. And of course, you've got all the studio lights, which like illuminate your skin on purpose. Otherwise, you look dull. And we don't want people to look dull. She hated her coloring all the time. And I'm like, you just got to stop spray tanning. Like, we cannot fix this situation.
Well, I had to learn that the hard way too. I mean, you learn like different lighting and different angles and makeup. Like, I'm like, I can't wear shiny bronzer ever again on set because that just looked terrible on me. And so there's gonna be episodes out there that I'm not really proud of the way I look. But again, it's part of the growth. It's where you
100%. And it's like you can't fixate on those things because like an episode is here one day, gone the next, and it's into the archives. People will still watch it and listen to it. But if anyone's really taking the time to be that upset because you look a little shinier that day, they're crazy. But we had a client who wore orange on camera, and she didn't like the way she was like, you guys edited this wrong. I was like, no, it's the way that the light reflects on different colors onto your face.
Oh, right.
The color theory.
it's like a corally, orangey.
I think she still looked beautiful, but I get that like to her, she was like, I don't look the same.
When everything
she wears
else,
black all the time.
black, brown, dark blue, like jean jacket.
So even then, well, one thing I noticed about podcasting, anybody getting into anything in front of the camera, you are going to be hypercritical, and that's where the testing, as a female anyways, probably men too, and I've looked this up.
I don't think men give a shit, but I think us women are literally fixated.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we're fixated, and then so I even heard of podcasters that would put a Post-it note over their face and they listen back to their episode because they don't want to get fixated on what they look like because we do.
Yeah.
We hone in on all the imperfections
Or like,
that we think.
if I had known to move this chunk of hair
Yes.
or...
Yes,
Yeah.
and it really it could be a real thing where you start getting insecure, and so you have an obligation to yourself to say, F that, I'm not going to allow that to get in my way.
Well, yeah, and to like mentally just spiral you.
Yes.
That was
and
the hardest thing when
happen.
I first moved out here. I knew that I needed to start doing video content because it was like the wave of this stuff getting bigger, not a podcast per se, but just like a video. And so I had hired Sean, who's our creative director, who was here full time, and now he's in Oklahoma with his family. And he had a friend, and they were coming, and we were doing like some content at my apartment building and this and that, just like some random stupid stuff because I'm like, I need to do something, but I don't know what to do. And I was so insecure looking at this footage that I was like, I can't post it. Like I literally could not bring myself to post. So then when we year later started our podcast, my girlfriend Lauren and I, it was audio only because it was just so much less stress than having to think about looking at like the footage.
So I mean,
yeah, the insecurity was eating me alive. And then finally you get 8 years older and you're like, I don't give a shit. Like I had a stain on my shirt for an episode like a week ago, and I was like, I didn't know I had a stain, but
I think
now everyone else does.
I think
the episode.
I think we're in the era of authenticity. People are begging for the unperfect, or imperfect. We don't want perfection anymore. It's not realistic. We're gonna have days where we're not showing up 100%, and that's okay. And that's why I don't mind showing up when something's awry, because it's like I'm showing everybody.
You almost had a snaggletooth on TV. Like
I
you're
almost
fine.
not even a
Nothing's gonna stop you
snaggletooth,
these
a
days.
full tooth missing. Like, what was I gonna do?
And in the
real quick?
front, it wasn't like a hidden molar in the back.
It was not. No, it was up front and personal. I would have offended some people, I'm sure.
That right there, I mean, you pushed through. I would have been freaking out myself.
I mean, I was freaking out, but I had to do what I had to do. I mean, it was going to be a story regardless. So
These men, but I'm telling you, they do not care. Like
That
these
is so
guys will
wild.
just roll onto set like, here I am.
You
But
guys
that's-
would know more than
but
anybody.
that's honestly what women, I think we should take a little bit away from that. I think there's so much pride in taking care of yourself and looking good.
Yeah.
Like I always say, I don't like people looking like a pig pen. I want everyone at work to always be like dressed properly. Like I've got a whole thing about deodorant. I'm psycho about these things.
Of course you do.
So there's limits to what I'm saying, but I think we could take a little bit from the men where they just like, oh yeah, this is how I always look. Like I'm just
Yeah.
gonna sit down and I'm not gonna overthink it when I see
They're just
it.
poised about it. They're like, yep.
And they're like
What you get
laying
today?
out on camera, like just
That's confidence. You still want to
Crazy.
show up at least looking somewhat like you respect yourself.
yeah.
So,
We're like sitting here like I need to make sure my posture's good.
yeah, that's a big
Suck it in.
Yeah, exactly.
A man has never said "suck it in." I just want everyone
Oh my
to know.
God, that's so true. And it's likely that they're not even paying attention when they're watching something
No.
if someone's off. And so That's very interesting that guys just don't even.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I don't
know.
it gets in there.
Lucky bastards. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I'll take something away from that. Okay, Heather, where can everybody find you? Your show. I can tell them all this, but I want them to hear it from you.
Sure. So YouTube is at dear_Heather, and then Instagram is dear_Heather__. So it's like a line, and it's and I wish
double
I had a better-
underscore.
double underscore.
TikTok?
Same with TikTok. Dear Heather _.
Awesome.
So hit me up on there. Hope to hear from you guys.
DearHeatherPodcast.com also
yes.
has all of the links.
The main squeeze. Yes.
And all of your stunning, gorgeous pictures.
Thanks to you guys.
Yeah.
So-
Oh my God, those were nuts. We actually had a client recently do a shoot, and like she picked up the wrong outfits.
Oh, really?
And then it's tough because it's like, well, what do? You really have to do like a whole reshoot. Yours turned out stunning.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, the talent was 100%. Not the talent. On the other side of the camera.
And
The photography talent.
The photography
She
talent.
also
thank
is
you.
good at telling you like pose this way. Do
Oh
this.
my gosh. I didn't
It
have
helps.
to.
Expert
Yeah.
status.
And
But your pictures are nuts. Like literally, they're so good.
thank you.
Truly,
Well,
you were
takes
like a
village.
home run of a photo shoot.
I agree with that because, again, the talent was just amazing. So I
Okay,
appreciate
well, you
that.
are the talent. And with that, that is our episode of Behind the Success.